Hey everybody, back for another episode. This time we're back on the other car. We're back on the 61. We got some parts and we're going to put some more stuff together on it this week and see how far we can get with it. So let's take a look at what we got.
No, you're not bringing home another piece of junk.
Okay, on our last episode, we were waiting for parts. So I just got my roof rail weather stripping in. So that's the weather stripping that's going to go all along here that glass goes up into. So we're going to get that on this weekend. Also, this little motor was smoked on that air conditioning unit. So ordered a new one, got it put back together tonight. Also patched that little spot on the evaporator. I don't know if it was leaking or not, but I just we cleaned it up, put a little solder on there just to be sure. So now, oh yeah, that's working. Okay, so we should have cool when we put this thing together. And I did check the thermostat, and it does pass voltage through the thermostat out to this wire. So that will energize the compressor when we have this thing in there. So that's another thing I want to do this weekend is let's make some brackets for this and get this guy mounted. What else are we going to do this weekend on this thing? Maybe get the hood on. I'm going to dig the hood hinges out, clean them up, get them bolted on. I'm going to fix this misalignment in the fender that a watcher so kindly pointed out to me that, to tell you the truth, it wasn't misaligned until I put that bottom bolt in, and I guess that pushed the fender up a little bit and knocked it out of alignment. So we're going to fix that too. And yeah, just a lot of miscellaneous. So I got a few things over here to paint, and today's Thursday, so got a little bit tonight. Tomorrow night, sometime Saturday, and sometime Sunday. We're just really going to throw down on this thing and get as much done as we can. And the goal this month is I have got the back window seal coming. Should be here in a few days. We're going to get the back window in, and I have got the window fuzzies coming for here. So I want to get this seal in. I want to get the window frames made for the other side. I've got them made for this side, and I need to shorten up the I need to lengthen the window regulator for the other side and fix some bad rollers in it. So a lot of little stuff to try to get all that going, and then that's about all my money for February. I kind of blew it all in one shot, but when I get right to the end of February, first part of March, I want to buy some optic armor window, which is like a high-tech plexiglass, not plexiglass, Lexan that they're using on race cars. So I think we're going to make the windows out of that. So we'll be doing that before long too. Okay, so man, this poor thing is dirty. I'll probably blow it off too. Okay, so let me get this thing off of there, and let's take a look. Let's do a little dry fit under there and figure out what we got to do to make some brackets for this thing, do some measuring. All right. And I'll tell you what, that thing is huge. That's going to take up a lot of space. I wouldn't, I don't know, looking at it, it's like, I don't know if I want something that big in there or not, but I mean, it is period correct. If you put a factory, put an AC in a 60s car like this, that's probably, if you did an aftermarket, that's what you got, It's just big. So now I'm going to go ahead and make some brackets for it, and we'll make it work. But all right, well, I'm going to have to offset it a little bit so that it's not so that I can reach the gas pedal. So let me make a bracket for that top. and we'll bolt that to the bottom of the dash, and it'll actually have some brackets coming off the bottom that'll help support it down to the floor once we get it all in there. So, all right, well, let me find a piece of metal and let's see what we can make. All right, back out in the garage today. It's been a couple days since I've been out here, and tell you what, this has been one of those weeks I just have not had a lot of motivation. It's been cold in the evening. I get home from work and stick my nose out the door, and it's like, do I feel like going out there and working and firing up the heat? And I just have not done it. Sat in the living room with my wife watching 1883, which is a pretty darn good show. But we're back out today. I made this bracket for the air conditioner, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this thing. We're going to bolt it to here. It's going to be offset a little bit to that side because I got to be able to get my foot in there to get to the gas pedal. But I'm just going to mount it, and I'm going to drill a hole in the tunnel for where the evaporator drain line is going to go. But I'm not going to mount it on there yet. Mount the unit until I get some carpet ordered around the end of the month. Get the carpet put in there. Then we'll get the unit mounted, and then we'll get, because it's got some little brackets on the bottom of it that we're going to use to kind of make some feet that will sit down on the carpet to support this thing, because this is a heavy unit. It's got some these little dudes right there, so there was some kind of bracket on this thing that like went down and sat it on the trans tunnel. So that's what we're gonna do. So we'll get that in there and done today. I'm gonna paint it up, let it dry. I'm gonna work on these hood hinges, get them on. They're really in good shape and they work good. I just need to clean them up, and I don't know if I'll shoot a little paint on them or what. The anodized coating actually looks pretty good on them, so we'll see how well they clean up. But a lot of little stuff today. You know, it gets down to that point in a project where you got all these little things, and when it gets to that, for me, it's I got to push myself to do it. You know, this has been more enjoyable to me to do for the past few weeks, but this thing has to get done because I want to drive it. So I've got all my window parts out here. I've got window stuff, some here and some coming, and we're going to get, by the end of the month, first part of March, we're going to get all these windows in, working, seals on them, back window in. That's a big thing to get done. So I made this way back several videos ago. I made this frame for this one to make a longer window, so I got to do all that again for the other side. Just haven't done it yet. So all right, instead of talking it to death, let's clean these hinges up, see if I can find the bolts for them, and we'll get them bolted on. So that'll be a good thing to get done today. And I got the heater going. It gets warm enough in here. We'll shoot a little paint on this guy, and I got a couple little trim pieces we'll shoot a little paint on. So okay, back in a few. All right, so I just used this wire wheel. It's a pretty heavy one, and look at the difference in that. So, man, these are in really good shape. I mean, the coating on them, the anodized coating is good. I don't know if these are original or if they're replacement. It says 12973. What is that? ATW00. I don't know if that's a GM stamp or if these were some aftermarket hinges. So I'm not even gonna paint that. I'm just gonna clean up a couple little more spots, and I got some clear over there. I might shoot a little clear on the spring to keep it from rusting, but I'm fine with that. All right, so let's I'm gonna clean on this one a little bit more, then we'll clean on this one a little bit more. I'll shoot a little clean on this one, shoot a little clear on that spring, and then I gotta dig around and find the bolts. There's like 3 bolts for each one. They are in one of the boxes of stuff. The boxes of stuff are getting smaller, and the piles of stuff are getting smaller as stuff goes back on the car, so that's good. All right, let's get both of these done and take a look at them. Oh, there you go. I think that looks pretty good. Much better than that little bit of rust that was on there. So I'm gonna go inside, grab some lunch, let these things dry, and we'll come back out and we're gonna find some bolts and get these things bolted on, and we'll do some other little stuff. So I'll be back in just a bit. All right, so we got both hinges on, got new bolts and all of those, and I know I'll probably have to do some adjusting to those when we get the hood on, but I don't know if I can get somebody to give me a hand getting that hood up there later this week or not, but we'll get to it. Also went and re-shimmed this fender and got this lined up a lot better, looking a lot closer to what it should be. So just had to actually took a shim out down there and ended up putting it in the bottom, and that pretty well squared it up. Okay, so I got a couple of pieces over here. These are inside window trim pieces. These go at the base of the windshield. So they wrap around there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get them cleaned up. Get a little primer on those, get a little paint on those while we're out here today. And what else are we gonna do? I don't know, we got plenty more to do. I'm thinking about maybe throwing that seat in there and test fitting it. I might do that. And just see where the hole's got to be drilled and all that. I think it is going to sit fine. I forgot what the guy told me this thing came out of, Malibu or something. But I'll tell you what, let me throw that in there and let's make sure this thing fits and see what it looks like real quick. Tell you what, that is a really nice seat. The length is good side to side, better than the other one I had in there. I got it propped up on some 2x4s now just so it won't flip backwards. But, woo, we're going for a ride. Yeah, I like it. Once I actually get it bolted down, I think it's going to be good. There goes my block. And the brackets are down to the floor good, so maybe a tad bit of spacer on them. But yeah, that's good. You know, headrests aren't correct for a 61, but so what? We'll use it. Yeah, I dig it. Okay, let me I'll tell you what, I'd like to try one of those weather strippings in here. Let me set this camera up. Let's get one of those roof rail weather strips and try to snap that thing into place and see what it looks like. Where's my camera thing? There it is. Camera thing. Alright. Still rolling? Yep. Alright, let me get one of these things and we'll take a look at it. So this is Steel Rubber Products make this. Supposed to be the exact one for the 4-door hardtop. It should just snap in here. We'll have to go back and glue it. Once we do a test fit, make sure it's good. But I clean that groove out real good. It wasn't as bad as I thought. It was like $150 for the pair. Let's see. Oh yeah.
around the post a little bit. And they give you there's a little plastic pin holds the end of this thing. They give you those.
Yep. Nothing to it. So then your chrome on your window, this slides right up into the groove of that weather strip. And that's your seal. So yeah, that's good. I'm getting all kinds of good stuff done today. But I have to put a little glue on the back of that and put it in there for good. But right on, good deal. Looks more and more like a car all the time. Okay, so what was I gonna do? I was gonna paint a couple little things and get them drying so we can get those on. So let me do that and we'll come back and take a look. Okay, so just shooting a little bit of paint out here. Got the back of the mirror sanded and shot. It was kind of rusty, and clean these up and paint one side. I'll flip them over and paint the other side in an hour or so. Got those weather strippings glued on there, and I need to start figuring out. I want to get that this seat bolted down, figure out where it's going to bolt down, get those holes drilled before we put carpeting in here. So I need to flip this thing over and center that adjuster on both sides, and then I'll make the center of the adjustment the right adjustment for me, and that way it'll be able to go up some more or it'll be able to go back some more. And then we'll do some measuring. We'll get some holes drilled for that. So let's flip that thing over, get that centered. I want to take a look at the brackets they've got on the bottom of this thing. They look like a little bit of some homemade stuff, but hopefully we can use them. And let's get this thing bolted down. All right, so the mailman was good to me today. The back window seal showed up, so we're going to be getting that in this week. And my window fuzzies showed up, which I didn't buy the factory Impala window fuzzies because I figured the factory ones for the two-door probably wouldn't fit, and for the four-door definitely won't fit. So I found these universal ones. Place is called Rubber the Right Way. These are 4-footers. There's 2 4-footers in there. So I think it's going to come pretty close to what I need. We'll have to check that out to be sure. But man, it's gorgeous out today. It's 60 degrees. Got the door open. All right, so I kind of marked my holes of where we're going to drill for these seats, for this seat. And it's actually pretty nice. I don't think I'm gonna have to put any spacers or blocks or anything under it. Just drill the holes and bolt it down. So let me get a drill some holes in this. We'll put a couple of bolts in it, and we'll try it out and see what it looks like. That is so aggravating when you spray something and it looks good and you think, I'll put one more coat on it, and it crinkles. All right, well, I have to let that dry, sand it down again, shoot it again. That's all I can do. And that's aggravating. All right, let's get back to drilling some holes. All right, got a couple holes drilled in there, and got it pretty much mounted, and it's good. I like where it's at. I got forward and back movement. It's just temporary mounted now until I'll take it back out when we put the carpet in. But all right, so that's good. So what else are we going to do today? I think we might look at might take a look at these window fuzzies and how we're going to mount them. I got to figure out exactly where they go. I know I got like the vent window goes here, and I think it's to about right here. So I think the window, the sweep actually only goes from about right there to right there. So I could probably tell by, let me find that old piece of chrome that went on there. And that should tell us. I'm not using that chrome because it's for a 4-door, so it's not going to work. I think it's over, here it is. It looks like it's for this side. All right, let's take a look. So, if we put this here, this is where this went. All right. There's the mounting holes that went in. So we can see that it went from, let's put a mark here, right there, and it's going to have to go back to the end of there. We're just going to leave that chrome off there. I filled all that and painted over it, so we're not going to be putting it back on. It's going to be one of those eliminated pieces. All right, so let's look at this window stuff here. Looks like this. It's got the little stainless bead for the top of it, and then this fuzzy part is what your window sweeps against, which is why they call it window fuzzy. And it's going to go from there to there. All right, so I guess the old one went in with clips. This one we're probably going to have to do some, I got some small number 6 stainless screws. I think I'm going to put it in with that. So let me go ahead and cut this to the right length. And then I'll dig out those screws, we'll do a little bit of drilling, and we'll get this piece in here, and we'll see what she looks like. So I found these screws, these are 8s, stainless. So I just went along in here, see there used to be clips that went in these, and held that on there, but what I'm going to do is I just made marks, and I'm going to drill there and run these little screws in there, and I've already got a hole here that I can use that it fits, and I got one back here I can use that it fits. So let me find a teeny tiny drill bit that size. We'll get this dude up there and we'll drill some holes and see what she looks like. All right, that went on pretty good, and I think it looks good. The only bummer part is, once I cut that piece off, this piece is not long enough for back here. So I was hoping I was just going to be buying, you buy this in sets. You get 2 4-foot strips for $60, I think, shipped. So I need one set for the outside and one set for the inside, I thought. But I guess I'm going to have to get another set because this ain't long enough, and I don't want to piece it together. I want a solid piece from here to here. So not a big deal, you know, in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so now that I got that on there, I can put these vent windows. Well, no, I gotta wait. I need my window channel weather stripping, and I think it goes in those vent windows. Let's see. Yep, so here's your vent window. So I got to get the strip, the weather stripping strip that goes in here, which I guess I could put that in afterwards. Yeah, probably can. There's actually a seal that goes there too. I guess that seals this against the door so that you don't get any rain in there. So I'm going to have to, I don't know if that seal's available or if I have to figure out something for that. These seals are still really soft. Yeah, it's a little cracked there. But I don't know if I'm gonna change them or not, man. Them are a boatload of money. We'll have to see. Yeah, change them later. Okay, so let's, that side is done. Let's get this side on there. And yeah, just keep on trucking. We'll get that on there and let's pull both these out. There's my one. It's nice. The piles of junk are getting smaller. There's the other one. Yeah, I said those seals got a few little cracks in them, but I'll tell you what, they're still soft, so I am not going to buy those right now. Maybe I will later. And as far as here, I might just put that still kind of pliable. I might just put a little sealant on that. I'll tell you what, this is where the money can just eat you up. Getting all the seals and rubber for this thing, so just to review, so the front window seal, it was pretty cheap. It was like $50, less than $50, because I guess all the Impalas use the same front window seal, but that back window seal is strictly 4-door hardtop, and it was $260. So then we're gonna go another $150 for the roof rails. So what's that? Say 300, 450. I got to get 3 of these, 450, 550, or 600, and then a trunk seal and the door seals. I mean, you're easily $1,000 in weather stripping if you want to go that route. And plus, there's a little seal goes here. There's a rubber seal goes in this little U channel back here. There's a rubber seal goes in this U channel here, which that, and maybe this seal seals to that. I don't remember for sure. Door seals, I mean, it can stack up quick. This is where this is where the money gets crazy on you. So, but like I said, we're just going for roadworthy right now, so we can add some of those other seals later on as we go. Okay, let me get this one cut, and we'll get this one put on, and see where we're at. All right, so I got this window sweep strip on over here, and I'll tell you what, that's a pain in the butt drilling them little screws and getting them in there. Let's go ahead and I'm gonna clean up those vent windows. Got a little bit of rust on the threads on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and get them cleaned up. Dig out the old window channel, and let's go ahead and get them mounted. I was thinking I had to wait until I put the glass in to put those in, but there's a back channel that bolts in here that I can go ahead and bolt those in, and when I do the window, slide this back channel in and out to get that in there. So all right, let's go ahead and clean these guys up, get these in, and see what they look like. All right, so I got one of these things on, and you know, the challenge of getting one of these together is finding all these bolts. You know, you know, there's a lot of guys on YouTube that will, when they take a car apart, they'll put everything in plastic bags and label it, and God love you if that's you. I'm just not that organized. I wish I was. I kind of throw everything in boxes and then probably spend way too much time rooting through it. I kind of keep the boxes together. Like I had a box of, actually I labeled one bag, and then I just started throwing it in boxes after that. But like I'll have a couple boxes of interior parts, and I have a box of engine parts, so I don't mix them up that much. So but anyway, was able to find everything for that, got that one in, and it's working good. So you know, when you're putting new door seals in, these things have to kind of break in, so it's the door can be a little tough to close first because it's got to get used to being mushed. That rubber molding does. But no, it fits good, looks good. And I think it looks good without, you know, this car had trim that went all the way here and all the way up around. I'm leaving all of that off. And I'm just going with this. And I think that looks pretty good like that. I'm not going to put I've got the roof rail chrome on, but I'm not going to put it on because when I took that drip rail chrome off, I mean, this was rusted underneath, and I had to work for a long time to get that rust off and get that smooth. So I don't use it like using a lot of the old trim that just traps rust and dirt underneath. So I'm not going to put that back on there. But nah, I think it looks good. So let's go ahead and do the other side. While I was digging out the bolts for this side, I dug out the matching bolts for the other side, so it should go faster. Let's get that one on and see what it looks like. Okay, so that one took an hour and a half. This one took like 15 minutes. So, well, not an hour and a half. Took about an hour and a half total. So maybe a little over an hour for that one. 15 minutes for this. Part of the reason is I took that one further apart because it was the first one I took apart, and then I realized I took apart a bunch of things I didn't have to take apart when I took this one out. So anyway, they're back in. I think they're looking good, and I'll tell you something I'm gonna work on now is I don't have the emergency brake cable hooked up for this thing, so we're gonna crawl under this thing, and I'm gonna take some adjustment out of that cable and get it hooked up to the pedal. Also, you see that pedal's kind of chopped off. So the guy had this before me had these kick panels that had the speaker built into them, which I really don't care for because it throws the speaker way out there. So I am going to weld a little piece back on that pedal, and so I can put a regular pedal pad on it. And then I'm just going to use a regular kick panel here, and I'm going to use the hole for the dash speaker. But there is a couple places online where you can buy, I'm sure there's one on eBay. So like here's the bracket for the dash speaker. So they sell one that actually has two small dash speakers in it. So they sell it that way, or they sell a speaker like this that has a dual driver. So you can use the dash speaker for your front speakers. Now I'm not I don't want no killer sound system with the big boom boom subwoofer and all that junk in there. Just I'm kind of old school, pair of 6x9s in the back, couple speakers in the front, decent receiver. Most of what I listen to is talk radio anyway. So we're gonna go that route. Okay, so let's crawl under this thing, and hopefully that e-brake cable is not all encrusted, and we can take a bunch of the adjustment out of it and get the cable hooked up. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so can you imagine what a miserable, horrible death that would be if you were under that car and it fell on you? I can't imagine. I knew a guy that, not real close, but I knew him that happened to, and he died in his garage. And his wife found him. This was years and years ago. And between that, and I had a very good auto instructor, and I'll say it on this channel a bunch of times, never get under a car without two means of support. Jack stand with the weight down on the jack stand, and a jack with once you get all the weight down on the jack stand, get your jack under a good solid place on the frame, and just give it a pump to where you start feel tension where it starts to lift, and then crank that valve closed. So I've said that a bunch of times on here, and I'm going to keep saying it, you know. So anyway, let's take a look at this e-brake situation. I think I got you upside down here. Where's the cable? There's the cable.
It's in the center of the car on this. Something I don't like about these. Okay, so what that? There you go. All right, so I need to clean this. You see that? There. I need to clean this adjuster up and get this nut. We're gonna back it all the way off and get this cable nice and loose to where we can get to where I can pull it up, get the end of the cable back in the pedal up there, and then we'll tighten it back up. So yeah, I'm about to have to get a wire brush or something and clean that up, put some lubie on it. All right, so let's do that, and we'll take a look at it once we get her done. All right, so I end up having to take the pedal back out to do this, but I got it bent straight again. Got this little piece welded on there, so it's a whole pedal again. And I got the cable adjustment loosened up, got it on there. It's working, the light is working. That when you've got the e-brake on, that you get a brake light on the dash. So we're good, except I dropped it and broke the handle. Gosh darn it. So I'm gonna find another brake release handle. So, but anyway, that's another thing we can cross off the list that I'm pretty happy to see. So, what are we gonna do next? Is the question. I got lots of little things we can do. I do need to do a cam braking on this thing, but I don't know if I've got a tack here anywhere, and I really need a tack to do it. I'm just gonna hook one up temporary. I'm not gonna have a tack in this thing. I'll just, you know, listen to the RPMs of the motor as far as when to shift. Don't really need a tack. So I'll look around and see if I can find one of those. I probably need to change this trunk hinge. So that one is kind of bent, and I tried to straighten it out, and the trunk just really doesn't sit right. And I need to bolt the latch on the back of here too. It's in a box somewhere. So let me see, maybe we'll prop this up, and I got to take the tension rods back out to do it. I do need to mount the computer too. We can run a couple screws in that. Let's go ahead and get that trunk in changed out. Let's find the trunk latch and get it bolted on there, and we'll get those little things done. All right, so I got that hinge changed, and it's that other one was definitely bent up. Yeah, it was bent there, and I tried to beat it back into place, and then you can see how far we'd had to try to notch the bolt holes out to get the thing to fit. So it was pretty much a jump. This one is better for sure. Well, one, it actually holds the trunk lid up, and the other one wouldn't do that. So I'll put this down, got the latch on there. This gap is pretty good over here, and this looks pretty good, but this one is just, I think it's mostly in the trunk lid. Hindsight, I should have pre-fit the trunk lid before I painted it, because you know, I checked the doors and made sure they fit before. I just didn't think about really checking that deck lid because it came off the car. So kind of wish I would have, but it is what it is. You know, got as close as I can get it. So what else are we going to do today? I did find a tack. I don't know if I got enough gas in this thing to do a cam brake in on it or not. But I guess we could try it if it runs out of gas, and we'll just go get some more and finish it up. So let me get this tack hooked up, and we'll fire this thing up and try and do a cam brake in on it and see how it goes. All right, so let's see if we can do a cam brake in here. I'm gonna run it for about 20 minutes at about $2,000, and hopefully she won't overheat. If it starts getting too hot, we'll just shut it down for a little bit and then let it cool down and start back up. I don't really have a fan to put in front of it, but all right, so let's just I got the little stopwatch here. It's got the tack up there on the hood hinge. Fire right up. All right. Okay, so let's do it. Gauges, got plenty of oil pressure, and we'll just see how she does. Okay, we'll check back in a few. Alright, about 5 minutes to go. Looking good so far. Alright, we're still hanging in there. Another 5 minutes to go and we got it. All right, so that is going to be it, and we got a lot of stuff done here. So I'm pretty happy with all we got done on this video. A lot of little stuff out of the way, and that much closer to hitting the road with this thing. So let's go inside, get a word from the Lord, and we'll call it on this one. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us on the video today, and it feels good to be back on the Chevy and to be cruising towards cruising. So we're getting close to getting this thing on the road, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think we got a lot of good stuff done these past few days. So for a message this week, just kind of want to talk about a little bit of what we talked about in our sermon in church yesterday, which is the message of grace. It's that we are saved by grace through our faith, and not of works. We don't earn God's favor. We don't that when we get to heaven, Saint Peter doesn't pull out the big book and open it up and say, "Oh, you got more bad stuff here than good stuff. Sorry, you can't come in." That's not the way it works. Christ died for us to pay the price for all those sins. So the debt is paid and we are free. We just need to accept the gift. That's the message. So let's read a little bit of. I'm just going to go over the outline of what Brother Matt presented in his sermon, and kind of give you some scriptures to read. And this is good stuff. So we're kind of focused on Galatians 2. So let's look at Galatians 2, 16 through 21. We'll go ahead and read this. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Jesus Christ, even we have believed in Jesus Christ, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, but not by the works of the law. Excuse me. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. But if, while we seek to be justified by Christ, we ourselves are found sinners, is therefore Christ the minister of sin? God forbid. For if I build against the things which I destroyed, I make myself a transgressor. For I through the law am dead to the law, that I may live unto God. I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. That's a good song, Phillips, Craig, and Dean. Yet not I, but Christ liveth in me, and the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. I do not frustrate the grace of God, for if righteousness comes by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. So if we could earn our way to heaven, if there was something we could do to gain our salvation, then Christ died for no reason, and we know that's not the case. We know that He died for us to pay that penalty, and that He suffered more than any human had ever suffered, and He did that. He did that willingly. He went to the cross willingly for us, and I'm sure he feared it. It was a horrible, physical, painful, torturous thing, and I'm sure there was even though he was fully God, he was also fully man. So I know he felt that that pain and that anxiety and of having to deal with all that. So, looking at our outline, we're justified by faith apart from works. So it is not our works that justifies us. It is our faith and our accepting that gift that Christ has given us. Point 2, we are free from the bondage of the law and from sin. Point 3, we are crucified with Christ in order that we may live in Christ. So when we say that, we mean that our old self, our sinful self, is crucified with Christ and dies on that cross with him. But as Christ was resurrected and lives again, he lives inside of us, the new us, because the old us, the old self, we take that to the cross with Christ and we let that old self die. Point 4, we are bound and free by grace, so we should live like it. And that's a great point. And so if we look at Galatians 2:21, we just read that, but do not frustrate the grace of God, for if righteousness comes by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. So just to focus on that again, make sure you understand that. Let's look at one more here. Romans 12, 1 through 2. Let me flip back here to Romans. Romans 12. This Bible has really small print. 12, 1 and 2. I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. Be not conformed to the world. Boy, that is a message we need today, I'm telling you. I don't know if anybody is a fan of the Grammys, but I was absolutely shocked and heartbroken by what we saw on that show last night. If anybody tuned into that, just open Satan worship right there on national TV with families watching and kids watching, and music that is pitched towards our young people. So it's very, very sad. So we need to be praying for our society. We need to be a shining light that speaks truth, that speaks grace, and that that we put out the word of God. That's what we need to be doing. All right, so let's have a word of prayer and we'll wrap this one up. Father, we just thank you for this awesome gift of salvation. And we thank you for the sacrifice you made on the cross. And we know we could never fathom exactly what you had to go through, but we can imagine the pain and the anxiety and just the horrible torture that you had to go through, and that you did that for us. And that you did that for me specifically, and for everybody else who's listening to this show tonight, that each person you know each name, and whether they know you or whether they don't, that when you were on that cross and you were dying, you saw their face and you knew their name. And we just ask for revival in our country, and ask for obedience for ourselves, that we would obediently go out and speak your word. We ask this in the name of your precious Son, Jesus. Amen. All right, let's hit like, let's hit subscribe. Make sure you come back and watch the next one. Pass this on to your friends. Trying to build the channel up. So also prayer requests. Just a reminder, if you got a prayer request, make sure you drop it in the
comments of the video, and I'll make sure that we call it out. I have a prayer request. I have someone who's very close to me who is getting ready to go into opioid treatment, and it's someone I care very much about, who has struggled for a long time and I love very much. And so just ask that you would pray for this person. I'm not going to name who they are, but that you would pray for them and everybody else who is dealing with addiction out there today. So God bless you all, and we'll catch you on the next one.